I am happy, you are happy. Let us be happy together, whether the weather is cloudy or sunny. I will always be your funny honey bunny. I am lucky, you are lucky. Let us get lucky together, whether the weather is cloudy or breezy. I'll be there to say, hey, come on, let's take it easy. 'Cause isn't it nice to have the friends that you do? And isn't it nice that the sky is so blue? And isn't it nice to say I love you, chugga chugga choo choo, woo woo. I am smiling, you are smiling. Let us smile together, whether the weather is cloudy or stormy. I will still be there in the morning. I'll be right by your side in the morning. I'll make you breakfast in the morning. I hope that you like cereal.
Yay!
Yay!
So much that's I often have a hard time keeping up with how many things I'm right about. It's a Herculean task that I go through right now, and one of them is the whole redistricting, gerrymandering conversation, right?
Yeah.
Whoops! Oh, of course my Safari craps out right as I'm about to do that. Several times over the last year, the Republicans have taken advantage of, or tried to take advantage of, the skewed census data that Trump intentionally tried to skew to keep the purple states red, right?
Of course.
The multiple times they were manipulating the census. We know this. I mean, it's flat out. They were trying to take political control over the census process so that the redistricting would benefit Republicans. And everybody was, the wailing and gnashing of teeth. The wrenching of garments. Man, last July and August, I was fending off daily the doomsayers right and left. Oh, good Lord. Oh, it's too late. They've got us, they're gonna redistrict us, and then because of that, and Citizens United and gerrymandering and money in politics, it's over. It's over. We're never gonna be able to escape. They've got an edge on us, and they're never going to give it up. And they're going to make these weird little districts where a Democrat can make it, but then they're going to carve out 3 or 4 other districts where only a Republican do it magically somehow. And they've tried, and every time they've tried, the Supreme Court of those very states throws them out. And the independent redistricting group that they gets the power to redraw the map creates incredibly normal districts, which, because of the trend line in American politics away from lunacy and towards normalcy, as much as the Republican maggot crowd might fight it, is an insurmountable wave for them. So we've got yet another, one of these, I'm sorry. It's me and you and Art. Hold on. I've got to do this one. I'm trying to put it on the screen so people can see it. Yeah, there it is. This is an Supreme Court of North Carolina strikes down legislative and congressional redistricting maps for unfairly benefiting Republicans, ruling that partisan gerrymandering violates the North Carolina Constitution. More information to come. This is from Democracy Docket. North Carolina.
What? Partisan gerrymandering violates the Constitution?
Yes. Yeah. And in North Carolina, imagine this. Imagine being in a party like the Republican Party where imagine if the Democrats had to, conceive a plot to undermine the restructuring of districts in California.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine if they had to do West Washington State. They're like, we gotta break up some of these congressional districts in West Washington State. Otherwise, the Republicans will take over. We got to redistrict Portland to save ourselves, right? Like, this is North Carolina. We're not talking about, traditionally swing states, per se.
Right.
They're having to do this in North Carolina. And it is even there where they've had outsized control for years, where they get more than their fair share of control over the electoral process, even there, the Supreme Court that is theirs is throwing it out. And these genuinely normal districts, which have been 60-40 Republican, painting these states with giant splotches of red for years by a 10% margin, are suddenly finding themselves recut to near 50-50 status because the voters aren't being sequestered into these tiny districts. And partisan gerrymandering, while it gives, it gave rise to the Congressional Black Caucus. It's almost entirely responsible for the creation of the caucuses that were like, let's put, the Republicans creating their own worst enemy and Democrats trying to grow certain districts. We're trying to build these districts where black voters had a singular say, creating a black-run district almost. Well, those things, whether they're done for positive discrimination in the terms of, what Democrats were trying to do by creating a district where at least they'd have some say, or Republicans where they were trying to take 3 districts that they'd actually have to run a real record in and allowing them to get more extreme because they just move them, big chunk of the voters into one district. You get 1, we get 3, instead of 3 slightly larger districts. Then those people, when everybody's cut up into a district, you have to appeal to these new voters who used to be in this sequestered district. You got to be able to reach across the aisle in a way. And that's a real problem for MAGA.
Oh, God, yeah.
It's not a problem. It's not a problem for, people who get derided, quote unquote, as corporate Dems, but run in a purple district that isn't, entirely primary by the activist class and has to run on, singular issue voters. When you're talking to a broad swath of voters and you've got to bring in the largest group of those voters, it's way easier for a Democrat to make an appeal about education and some other stuff than it is for a Republican, especially as book Bernie as they've gotten all of a sudden. And they're not ready for that. And their leader, the former guy, is not capable of doing it. He can't run a candidate that's a reach across the aisle candidate. He can't do it. He's stuck. And they have painted themselves into this situation where they can only run full-blown MAGA candidates in districts that are increasingly normalized, where there's an incredible balance, and that the fringes on either side do not have a stranglehold on the primary process or the electoral process in any of these districts. It's a nightmare for Republicans right now. Why do you think Mike Pence came out this week and said Trump was wrong? Dude is trying to throw himself on the grenade that Trump just chucked into the room.
Seriously.
And keeps doing. We got work to do to elect more Democrats, period, end of story. It's a lot of work. But none of it gets done by doomsaying. And none of that doomsaying is true. It's just pessimism. And it's got to be broomed. We got to take off the end of the show. Thank you so much. Thanks, Philip, for calling in. Johnny Million, you're wonderful. Fantastic. We'll see you guys next week. And, of course, on the regular live stream, infotainmentwars.com. Like and subscribe. Give a thumbs up if it suits your fancy. Spread the show around. Inform. Patreon.com/Hal Sparks if you want to support the show. Twitch.tv if your kid will let you borrow the computer. And we'll see you next week.